In this video, we're going to look at 3 different ways to make a hemisphere for your Roblox game. Let's go!
I got a comment. How to make a semisphere, sir? I need a tutorial on that. I can't find one. So I'm gonna do that right now just because that's a freaking great idea. Yeah, I haven't made a video for a while. I'm sorry, guys. How many subscribers do I have? 68. So close to 69. All right, pop in the Roblox Studio. Let's just open a dang base plate. Loading. Place. Please. Wait. I already am. So how do we make a semisphere, guys? Let's Google this. Semisphere. So this is what it looks like in 3D with the vertices. Anyway, we'll get in the blender in a minute. Let's actually say semi versus hemisphere. Okay. Sphere, hemisphere. What about semisphere? Is there a difference? As nouns, the difference between hemisphere and semisphere is that hemisphere is hemisphere, while semisphere is hemisphere. What? Is that hemisphere is hemisphere while semisphere is hemisphere? Okay, I think what that means is that a semisphere is a hemisphere, but a hemisphere is not a semisphere. Alright, now that we've got that confusion out of the way, let's look at the simplest way first to make a hemisphere. So what we're going to do is just click on the model tab. I'm going to press F11 and get into full screen here. By the way, if you don't have dark mode enabled, I'm going to show you how to do it really fast. Where is it? It's in advanced? No, it's in settings. Okay, right here. You're already on the Studio tab when you open it, but if you're not, click on Studio, and then you're going to scroll down. In the General tab, the theme, and you switch it to dark. Here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Part, click the pop-down menu, and then just click Sphere. So now we got a sphere. Click on it. If you press F, you can focus on it, so you can now rotate with the right click and rotating your mouse. And let us create it. The way we're going to do this is we're going to use the solid modeling. So you see this little tab, right? You see this section of the model tab right here, solid modeling. So these functions are what we're going to use to create this hemisphere. So first thing I need to do, you can either put in a new block, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate this with Control D. And you can also, I think you can right click. Yep, you can right click and duplicate, but whatever you prefer, just make sure one of them is selected. And what you're going to do is make sure your Properties tab is open. If it's not, go to the View tab, just open Explorer and Properties right here. And then go into the Part section of, I'm going to just close all these to reduce clutter. Look at Part, and then you see the third option down, Shape. Click on that, make a pop-out menu, and then change it from ball to block. Okay, now we have a block. And then something pretty important is we're going to want to make sure that we have, let me make sure it's the Y value. Yep, it's the Y value. So we're going to make sure we have a Y value that we can reduce by half. So if you have some weird thing like 4 point blah, 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 you're not going to want to do that math. So make sure it's rounded to something that you can do the math pretty easily in your head and just divide it by 2, and then whatever, just have a grid setting that will work with whatever value you're using for that. And then I'm just going to bring this halfway down. So we're going to make it half the height of our sphere, but leave the other dimensions the same. And now what we're going to do, I'm going to press Control 1 to just get rid of those handles. And I'm going to select, I'm going to use Control or Shift, both of them, and select, not both at once, just one or the other, Control or Shift. And I'm going to select the block, and I'm going to select, actually, first thing you need to do is select the block, and then you can go up to here and press negate, or you use the hotkey Control Shift N. So I'm going to go Control Shift N to negate it. And what this is going to do is going to chop off that whole bottom part of the block. And then you can Control click or Shift click and select that. And you can go Control Shift G or just hit Union up here. And then what that does is gives you a hemisphere. And now the bounding box, you can see that has changed. The whole collision has changed. let's actually just test this so you can see that the collision is now changed. And you can use this part for whatever you want now. And I can also change the size of it too. So check this out. Look at this. Also, if you're wondering about my hair, I'm trying to find, there's no brown style of this. I'm trying to get into the user-generated content thing so I can actually upload it. Anyway, let's select this. We can change the size. Oh, there we go. And now see the collision works. Collision with meshes imported from elsewhere, don't do this. Don't have a perfect collision model, but any unions you make are always given a perfect collision model, and that's pretty awesome. So then let me rotate this. Looks like we're anchored, are we? Nope, we're not anchored. Okay. I'm gonna wait for that to stop. Could you stop? Can you stop? Hey! Okay, cut it out. Why are you tilting that way? Whoa. Up! Okay, there we go. Now I'm on this thing, and my weight is not making this side tip down. Do we have like a ton of mass or something? Let's see what we got. Bird, check what we got. Sorry, I'm gonna say that a lot.
Bird, check what we got.
Now I'm gonna show you another step for this, which you may want to know. Let's just make it big, as if we're making it like the dome on a building. And then what you do is you duplicate it, Control D, and then just decrease the size by a little bit. Depending on the size of it right now, you're gonna want to change your grid setting, and then Control Shift N to negate, then select the bigger one on the outside, and Control Shift G, and what that will do is it creates, again, Control T to tilt. Check it out, we've got a bowl. Do Control T to tilt up. Okay, there we go. So look what we got now. And now I'm gonna anchor this, and then I'm gonna spawn inside of it. Now it's kind of like a half pipe. Reminds me of years ago. When was that? When my cousins and I, we made this whole like skateboard park, and then when solid modeling came out right then. So if you look back, whenever solid modeling came out, we wanted it for like bullet holes and doors. That was all we imagined it for it. But then we started using it to make half pipes, and we're like, this is so freaking cool. And it actually worked because of the collision. It actually worked with the skateboards, the skateboard tool that we found, and it was so awesome. So check that out. That is pretty cool to me. You can make that wall thicker if you want. You can also cut more holes in it. And I'll show you one more thing you can do with this. Let me just separate this. So this like group and ungroup. Control G and Control U are group and ungroup, but for the solid tools it's Control Shift group and ungroup. So to separate this, I'm gonna hit Control Shift U. Bam. And hopefully this all made sense. Let me know if that was too fast, and in the future I'll try to be a little more slow. But I will delete that, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this into more pieces. So for this, let me just go ahead and duplicate this with Control D. I'm gonna Control Shift U to ungroup this. Now I have two parts selected right now. What I'm gonna do is unselect this and then hit the delete key so it deletes that sphere, okay? And then I'm gonna take this, and our units are so messed up right now. I'm gonna get back to the original size. Bam, bam, bam. Control Z, just spam. Control Z. Okay, there. We're at the. Wait, no, we're not. Bam. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we've got what we started with. Actually, is it Control Y or Control Shift C? Oh, it's Control Y. Different programs have different hotkeys for that. Okay. I don't know why. Every time I go into play mode and come back, it turns off the grid settings. By the way, I'm going to make a video about how to set up Studio the way I have it, and with these bars up here. So once I make that, I'll put a card in the video that should pop out on your top right, and you should be able to go watch that. But focus right now and just open it in a new tab and watch it after this one. Okay, so now we're going to cut this. So I'm going to go Control Duplicate just so I can get the part that I had before. I'm going to ungroup this, Control Shift U, and then I'm going to unselect the sphere and delete it. Oh, no. I unselected the sphere and deleted the block. Okay. And then go over here. I'm gonna also duplicate this because I'm gonna use it again. And then watch me. Oh, watch me.
Watch me, okay.
What the, oh, yeah, union. And then, let me just duplicate this, so I have this part too. So now you've got, what do you call this? So that's a half sphere. So this is a quarter sphere now. It looks like an orange slice almost. And then, we're gonna go like this, Control, Shift, and Group, G. And now we've got what actually looks like a corner. So that's pretty cool. And then if we ungroup those, we can make them physics enabled. Let's actually just do that right now. I mean, not ungroup, unanchor. So now I'm gonna go, I'm just duplicate this a bajillion times. Okay, now let's test this and see what happens to the oh! Woo! Duplicate. Okay. What we're gonna do next? Oh yeah, okay. I'll show you guys another way to make a hemisphere. So for some of you, you're gonna want something a little more complicated, just because you're like that, or you're making something that this isn't gonna work for. So let's go ahead and show you how to make a hemisphere using the spin method. And if you've seen my video that strangely got like a bajillion views, even though I literally spent an hour making it, which confuses the heck out of me, that one is about the spin method. It's my first video about the spin method. And I'll show you what that is if you're not familiar with it. And I'll also put a card in the top right for that video if you want to go see that, if you haven't already seen it. And chances are that's the video that brought you here today, but who knows. Anyway, let's go ahead and not worry about units of measurement. Actually, just kidding, I want to. Let me turn on freaking grid, and let me turn you back to 1 just because oh no, what did I bump? That changed the value to something I didn't want. Okay, there we go. Bam, select F, focus. Let's make this even bigger, okay? Never mind, I was just have to decide, okay. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna group that, duplicate, and we're gonna rotate, okay? So, normally, I show this in more detail in that video, and I will show you more precise calculations with this another time. I'll show you all the math behind this method, but basically what I'm doing is I'm keeping hold on the rotation handle, and I'm just pressing Control D to duplicate this, and then I slide it 1 click, and then both of these. So now we've got a circle, but how do we turn that into a sphere? The problem is this sphere is not going to look great, but it will be a sphere. So this is a mistake I would not do. Control G to group that, and then duplicate and just go like this, because that looks like absolute crap unless you're going for that effect. But anyway, I'm not going to do that. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, just one of these 2 parts across from each other, duplicate that, and do this, okay? And it's important that you have this bottom part, even if you only want a hemisphere, but it's important to have that, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to get this, this exact curve, okay? Also try the Archimedes 2 plugin. I think that's really good. I haven't used it very much, but I think you can do stuff like this with that. A lot of curves and angles. And then I'm going to go like that. Now, I don't need to then finish that because that's literally in the exact same position. As long as you have squares. If you have rectangles for this part, then they're not going to be matching up like that, which it's your choice. It's your design, whatever works for the project you're working on. But let's go ahead and do that for all of these. And what I could actually do is just go ahead and continue this. Just Control D to duplicate. And there you go. You've got that. Now what you're going to do, this looks kind of cool. It looks like a world, like a globe kind of thing. So what you're going to do with this now is, oof, no, can I, please. I'm just going to have to select all of it. Dang. Wow, that looks amazing. It looks beautiful. Look at the center of that. There's like a freaking cube in there. Whoa, that is so cool. It's a cube with round edges, with round corners. Whoa, whoa. I'll show you what that is. cube with round edges. Hey, there we go. Oh, that's not what I was talking about. It's a little different than that though, cause that still has a square face on it. This one has a circular face. Oh, like that. Yeah, that's what we made. We just made that, guys. Except, how do you get that into a part now? I could do that if it was in Blender, maybe, depending on. Anyway, there we go. That's beautiful. Okay, this is gonna end up having a ton of extra parts. So this is something I don't like to do, but this is what we're gonna have to do. Ungroup, bam, because we don't want to have this whole circular belt cloning a bajillion times. So what I'm gonna do is like this. We're gonna go. Actually, what I need is, so I'm gonna go to View. I'm gonna pop out this QB, this little dicey thing, and just go bam, and then it gives me an exact view. Also, I'm actually freaking just gonna delete the base plate because you're ugly. And let's go forward. Get back on that again, and then I'm gonna use E and W. Actually, make you go up. It took me a while to figure that out. I remember the day. Everything I knew in Studio, I just figured out by myself, experimenting. And I remember the day I figured that out. I was so proud of myself. So now that these are ungrouped, we can select this, delete that bottom half, and then I'm gonna use the forward movement to just go bam. What we're gonna do is only select these top ones, and then press F to focus. Looks like we've got that. So I'm gonna group that. Okay. Now it's gonna do some weird with this, but sorry not to be offensive. Anyway, now our axes are all messed up. Okay. So it's gonna do some weird janky jank in the middle of this part where there's a square, but there's ways to work around this. You could take corners of your hemisphere you made from a sphere, except this time the sliced up version. So literally take, when I hollowed out that sphere and when I cut it into corners, you could take that and patch them here, and just make them the same thickness as this. And that could look a lot cleaner, honestly. And then you have it in more parts. You can do more architectural details and stuff. It looks a little more intricate. But you can also, dang. Okay, now our axes are fixed. Actually, looks like it's very inconsistent. I'm just exasperated right now because in most 3D programs you have global and local axes, which means local, it rotates according to the part's orientation, and global, it rotates according to the orientation of the entire place. But I don't see that button anywhere in Studio. Maybe there's a plugin for it. If there is, please spam the name of the plugin in the comments. Okay, there we go. Duplicate. I'm just gonna go bam. I could just go like this. Bam, bam, bam. I could do that. And then I have something very ugly. And because, look at how that's sticking out. This is why sometimes you want to just make stuff as a mesh in Blender, because that is not cool. It's because this whole bounding box is offset, all janky like. And anyway, that's the best we're gonna get. I'm just gonna delete this. But actually, this is kind of a method you can use to get like the ceiling of some, I don't remember what it is. It's the ceiling of some Roman like cathedral thing. The Colossus. I have no idea. Not the Colosseum. That's a stadium. This is like some kind of library or temple or something. But it's like the ceiling kind of looks like that. It has different tiles, but you have to get it more accurately than that. Anyway, you can look at the ceiling, that whatever ceiling that is. Man, I wish I could remember and tell you. Anyway, I'm not going to import the mesh, but we're going to try our last and third method. Excuse me, converting my mind to Blender controls. Blender is free, by the way, and use Blender 2.8, not 7.9, because or 1.79, because this is way more user friendly, and it has basically all the same stuff. Anyway, you can go look at pictures of modern architecture and ancient architecture to get ideas for how to apply shapes together. I mostly do architecture. You might be doing some very different things. Let me know if you want to learn more than just architecture, but that's kind of my world, so I'm going to be talking a lot about architecture. All right, so let's press X and delete that. So Control or Shift A. I'm going to add me a UV sphere. Yeah, icosphere is the all weird one. That's all triangles. UV sphere is what I want because it's made of quads. Now, what we're going to do is, come on, which one is it? Oh, I think you can, okay, I was learning more hotkeys. It's just so many hotkeys to learn. Okay, I'm going to press tab and get in edit mode, and I was using this, whatever you call it up here, to get into this orthographic mode. And then I'm gonna make sure that I have X-ray on. You can also do the, I remember the hotkey for it, it's Alt-Z. But select everything. So you see this middle strip? Don't select that one. You don't want to select that. Select this, and just go ahead and delete that. Okay, let's go vertices. That's what we want to do. All right, so now we got this. We can go out of edit mode. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a modifier, little wrench tab, and then we're gonna add a solidify modifier. Okay, and then let's increase the thickness to whatever you want, and try pulling in some, try exporting some of your stuff in Studio as OBJ, and if you don't know how to do that, okay, if you go into Advanced and say Export as OBJ, and then you can use that to help with scaling and measurements and making sure everything's the way you want it to. But let's just say that's what you want. Now, you might not want all these hard faces, so I'm going to go to Shade Smooth, right-click, Shade Smooth, and then there's a problem. It creates a weird thing, so I'm going to Shade Flat. Wait, we can still Shade Smooth, but we're going to add another modifier. We're going to add a subdivision surface modifier, also known as subsurf. And I'm going to leave it at what it's at. But test, whichever one's on top, it does different things. I'm going to turn off Alt-Z, I'm going to turn off X-ray. Whichever one is on top, it does different stuff. So figure out what it's doing to your mesh, which thing happens first. That looks more like what I want. But I'm also going to go into edit mode, and what is the hotkey again? Shift R? No, that wasn't it. It's Control R. I did Shift R. I'm such an idiot. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag that as low to the bottom as I can. And you'll see that makes the edge of the bottom a lot more sharp. But you're also going to want it. Problem is we don't have. Okay, here's what you got to do. We need geometry in here. So I'm going to apply the solidify modifier. Bam. Modifiers can. Oh, edit mode. Okay, tab. Get out of edit mode. Apply. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go back into edit mode. I'm going to go Control R right there. There. Okay. And then I'm going to put that close to here. And that's going to make the edge a lot sharper. Okay. And also probably want to do that on the inside. Bam. And this is just because we're using the subdivision surface modifier and shade smooth. Okay. There we go. We got that. Get out of edit mode. That looks like what I want. I like that edge. That's beautiful. It probably has way too many tries for Roblox. But that's another discussion for another time. Yeah, I really don't want to go into exporting meshes in the Roblox Studio right now. It's kind of stupid. But if you want to see a tutorial on that, let me know in the comments. And I'll probably make it. Because I like just covering one topic in each video. And today we covered semi-hemi demi-spheres.
Or demi-semi-hemi-demi-semi-quaver.
That's it. So more tutorials to come. 50 sub specials on the way. I know we're almost at 69, and I promised I'd make a 50 sub special in February, which I did. But I have a new editor, and he's working on it right now, and I'm giving him some time. I like editing, but I just don't have time for it anymore. So I am in the process of finding more editors. If you have decent editing skills and would like to let me try you out, hit me up in Twitter DMs and send me some of your work. All right, that's all for today, guys. Let's build a better world. Mr. Kamsaki out.